Where's my beer, man? All right. Let me just start it then. Ready?
Yep.
Hello and welcome to the Moon Underwater. I'm Kelly Daniels.
And I am Steve Jones.
How you doing, Steve?
Doing all right.
You are doing all right. I was
good
4
mood.
minutes late, and you didn't mind at all. You were in a good mood. Good things
Yeah.
going on. I know you accidentally texted me top secret company corporate secrets.
I did.
Luckily, I'm not going to leak it to
Thank
the
you.
moon. I thought of Pete Hegseth
Yeah.
texting
We should
the
use Signal, shouldn't we?
the editor of the Atlantic Monthly. Always a good friend of the Trump administration. And for the
Love that they
so
have
you
the
kind of
number.
did that.
I did.
But this isn't a hostile situation. But I can kind of make sure you know.
Yeah. I'll behave today.
Yeah, today, right?
Yeah.
No, forever. The rest of your life.
That's
No.
unlikely. Yeah.
So that's what's going on. Do you have any opener kind of stuff before we get to today's?
No, because it's relevant to the time of year, which is
I
clearly spring.
Well, yeah, that you don't want to talk news. I actually do have a news thing, but it's not the news. And I feel like it's just a question I truly have of you. It's about Ukraine.
Oh.
And I feel like the Ukraine news is like forever news.
It
It's
is.
like
5 years.
Yeah,
I'm like, it started that long ago?
I know, time flies. It's like watching your kids grow up, except horrible.
Right.
Like,
Except the opposite.
yeah,
Right.
People dying.
Right.
Instead of growing up. I just read an article today that really kind of surprised me, and it was that recently, at the time of this recording, Elon Musk specifically, but Starlink,
Yeah.
has been just screwing Russia.
Yes.
And it's been the opposite for the last several years. He's been kind of like here and there, but mostly helping.
Towing the line.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
also like, and the idea was, well, we don't want Russia to feel like they need to drop a nuclear bomb, so we're not going to let Ukraine like really use Starlink to win any real battles.
And now they are.
But now they're, and I guess Musk didn't respond to the article, but all kinds of Starlink stuff is just going out on Russia, and they can't do their shit. And Ukraine's making all kinds of gains, breaking through lines
that's no
and
accident.
stuff. No, it's not. And
Yeah.
Musk even said on X, like, hey, we're going to make sure that they get what they need, talking to you about Ukraine. So interesting. Do you have any idea what's the flip? Like,
The flip. I thought you meant how they're doing it. Yeah, I have an idea. It's because they decided to pitch in some way, shape, or form, and they've been smuggling Starlinks into Iran. And so you can't.
What does that mean? I don't get that exactly.
So the Starlink device
Yeah.
that would receive the signal for the internet.
Yeah.
They're smuggling those into Iran because, of course, now this whole thing with Iran is kicked off. They
Yeah.
shut off the internet. Well, no, they didn't.
Which is a
'cause they have-
couple months into it, and it's going
Right.
pretty hard to say how it's going
Yeah,
right now.
we're not really sure how it's going to go from here. But the fact that they're doing that, to me, says, okay, well, we weren't going to get involved, but they've clearly worked with somebody to get the...
Who's they? Russia?
No,
Or
I'm saying
Iran.
that Starlink, like that the administration is clearly working with, to get the equipment into various places.
Okay.
And so you don't get
do you
involved
mean-
in that.
So do you mean the Iran's the resistance?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So you can't you can't be
Yeah.
part of trying to kick off a civil war in Iran, which
Yeah.
is clearly what this is.
and then totally neutral.
and then totally neutral over here, where
Yeah.
everybody's like, they're kind
I
of getting
sorta-
screwed. So
what
that's
I
my
thought is that the goal has always been for the war to end, but they're finally realizing that Russia will never end the war.
They're never gonna end it.
until they're beaten.
Right.
And so if you want the war to end, you need to knock them on their asses, and then they'll accept some.
Conscription is a hell of a drug, isn't it?
I
You
guess
just
so.
go out and tell people that you're going to go be the lead part of the meat grinder.
I just think it's really interesting that a country that just has total no regard for its citizens whatsoever.
Nothing.
Like, just as many of them as needs to die. We got plenty more. Just keep making those babies so that we can keep feeding them to.
So sad.
It
It's
is
been that way for a long time, though. Historically, that's
It's
been
been
the case.
everywhere.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, like World
Yeah.
War I, World War
Yeah.
II. I mean, that it was like they're not even armed. Some of them.
On
right?
one of these, the great Dan Carlin history podcast, good old Dan Carlin, hardcore history. He his famous one is like this 5-part mega series
Okay.
about World War I. But there was one. I mean, there's so many little sub stories in World War I. It's a big deal. But there was
was
this,
a big deal.
There was there was this one general from England who just had it in his mind that he was like really Christian, and God told him that he's going to be the one that's going to win this war.
Oh.
And because of that, he just kept feeding hundreds of thousands of Englishmen into this like quagmire of certain death. But he all just assumed they were all going to heaven, so he just completely didn't care.
Oh, no.
And it had no strategic value whatsoever, like this like thing he was trying to do. But anyway.
It seems like there's a whole country of run like that right now.
There's probably a few countries that are run like that.
But I mean, one at war with Ukraine at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
is similar kind of,
Are they Christian? I don't think
Well,
they're even.
I'm not saying that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that it's like, well, we're going to win this thing if we just, more bodies, literally.
Yeah, and they do
Yeah.
say they're Christian, but it's more the greater project of get the Soviet Union back together is my divine sort of like right and goal. And I think people get these grandiose ideas, and all of a sudden
That could be a
nothing
religious
matters.
claim too.
It kind of is. Yeah, and there's
getting the
different.
band back together.
Yeah.
A Soviet reunion.
Yeah.
As the meme read before all of this happened.
Yeah.
And then at the time it was funny.
Yeah.
We're having a Soviet reunion. Oh.
Yeah.
Now it's not so funny.
It's been going on for a while. The joke is, it's not one of those jokes like the more you say it, the funnier it gets.
No, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it does.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
Yeah.
that's dystopian. Today's stories.
I was going to ask you.
I don't-
That's a question I want to answer after we talk about each one of the stories.
Okay.
Is it dystopian and how? And I think we can make the argument for at least two of them.
Okay. So you read all three.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hey, I know I don't read that much, Daniels. But
I know, but I only had things to say about the first and third because the second
The second one I don't really want to talk about.
we can talk about it briefly if
We
you
can.
want, but I don't think it works as well as the other
It doesn't
two.
today.
The only reason it's there is because I found them online as a free PDF. So
I think in today's world it doesn't work as well, and we'll get to that.
yeah, that's true. I just don't think as a story, I don't think the ending quite lands the way
didn't
I
get it.
wanted it to. Like the other ones I feel like have strong endings.
Oh, very.
And
Yeah. All right,
so
good.
Which one do you want to start with?
Oh, let's go in order of how
Okay.
we read it. Bullet in the brain.
So you don't want me to talk about it being dystopian
No, I wanna-
until after, right?
I want to talk about it after
Okay.
each story.
So wait, before we get to that, maybe we should introduce the author.
Yes.
So his name is Tobias Wolff, as
Indeed.
anybody knows who's listening to this because they looked at the title. And he was a
Hopefully.
big deal. He was like this whole generation of boomer creative writing professors who published usually stories and novels. They tended to be realistic. And it was before today's sensibilities about diversity, where
Yeah.
they were almost all dudes and almost all white.
Yeah.
And Tobias Wolff was one of those, and he was a professor and published books, and these stories were all over the anthologies that we all read when we were in MFA programs, my generation. And he had a good career. And one thing I notice about Tobias Wolff, Toby Wolff, as his
Wait,
friends
really?
call him. I never met him personally, but I know people who kind of, he was around. He was approachable.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's a boomer. He's probably
Okay.
pretty old. He hasn't published anything in a long time that I've heard of. But he this as opposed to many of his cohorts, he had no sex scandals. In fact, he would go to I know this is a low bar, but he was appreciated because he would just go to a university and do a reading or whatever, and he wouldn't hit on the undergrads.
Nice.
And he was just like, people thought he was a good guy.
Right.
And like I said, pretty low bar, but if you look at all these guys that were kind of big names in the writing world during that time, that age group.
Bill Cosby.
Well, there's that. And before Me Too and before DEI, and they were just, most of them had at least something of a reputation of being hound dogs, and Tobias Wolff was supposed to be a really nice guy. He almost seems like kind of a nice guy the way these stories are written, it seems to me. I get a feeling of, or maybe, and I've read a lot of them too. So anyway.
I can't say that I disagree with that.
You can't say you disagree?
No, but I don't agree.
Okay.
It starts with this first story. I don't agree with it in that.
So we're getting into a really interesting sort of question, and it's actually a question in this field of narratology, and it is called the implied.
Word?
It's called the implied author. So you read a story, and the reader has not just a picture of the characters in their mind, not just a picture of the narrator in their mind, but they have some picture of who the author is, who's different from all these others. And sometimes you like the author, sometimes you don't, and maybe sometimes you're not quite sure. So I'm curious, what in this one you thought that he was just relating to Anders a little too easily?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I figured it was, I'm like, that's the author.
Okay, but what does Anders do for a living?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
He's a book critic.
Ah.
Who do authors hate the most?
Book critics. Now it makes more sense.
So an author creates a character who's just a raging asshole who is a book critic.
Got it.
Can't you get the feeling? Here's my implied author. He's reading a bad review by a critic of one of his books, and he goes, "This asshole, I'm going to write a story about him." And then so you make him. And what I want to do is have him get shot in the head within like a page or two.
A page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've done this before, is what you're saying.
What?
Allegedly.
Oh, made stories about?
Yeah. You didn't like my essay?
I don't know. I can't really think of having cared enough to try to get revenge by trying to write a story about somebody. And I've heard Tobias Wolff talk about this. He said that sometimes you get angry at people, but then when you start thinking about it, you're not really angry at them. You're angry at the situation, and then it becomes interesting as a story. And then once they become interesting to you, you're not mad at them anymore. It becomes just a problem to be solved in terms of the story. How can I make a story work? So anyway, that's so I would definitely not say that Wolff sees himself as Anders. In fact, I think he is in pretty, at the beginning, harsh judgment of him.
But at the end, not, which is why I thought it was him.
But I think that's the kind of, you hate somebody, but then the project of writing the story is you force yourself to see their humanity. And
give them humanity, too.
But also feel sorry for them. Isn't that even kind of colder than hating somebody, is feeling sorry for them?
Probably.
So.
So one of the things I noted was I liked how it was written. And he's got a little, there's a line that jumped out at me. Anders had conceived his own towering hatred of the teller, but he immediately turned it on the presumptuous crybaby in front of him. Damned unfair, he said. Tragic, really. And I'll leave it there, but that, to me, damned unfair is like straight out of Sun Also Rises.
Yeah. Which he's putting other people down.
He is.
For sounding like they talk like Hemingway.
And
Yeah.
he's doing it.
Yeah.
And a little Hunter S. Thompson in there. That was another thing.
Yeah.
Damned unfair. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
very, like, and sort of in that same vein as what I felt like I was reading there.
Yeah. And I like that about his character, that he's a equal opportunity hater.
He really is.
So he hates the bank
teller for walking away.
So first off, just to set the scene, it's a just a guy in a bank, and he's a book critic, and he's just a bitter man.
He is.
He's just sort of like criticizes everybody, and this is an anachronism. Like, my students don't even understand what this is, but having to wait in a long line at the bank doesn't really happen anymore because of automation. So, hey, I know we're worried about losing jobs, but
it's happened at banks.
It's happened at banks, but
And they haven't continued to screw us afterwards. Oh.
Well, they have, but I also don't. I think there's just as much hiring at banks as there was.
There's a lot more banks.
Yeah.
Which is my argument
Yeah.
about AI. More people to do more stuff.
We will see. Not sure I buy it, but
I don't either, but I got to say it. It makes me feel better.
there we go.
Well, that's all that matters, really.
Yeah, I got into an argument with a friend recently, and he was just despondent. My argument wasn't that he was wrong, but that being sad about things that may or may not happen just seems like a real waste of time.
Yeah, or do something about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
What? We got a train? All right. Let's drink to the train.
If somebody was sitting in a chair and they get the number from the train, then they get a free drink.
Ooh.
That's why everybody, when it's crowded in here and that's going on, that's why everybody loses their minds when the trains go by.
Oh, and that's why all the bar chairs have numbers on them.
Yes.
Wow. You
Except
learned
the
things.
11 looks like it's 2 9s that the sides have been cut off.
So come on down to the Riverview Roadhouse and
there you go.
get yourself maybe a free beer when the train comes
Could
by.
be. Sit at the bar.
So we're at the bank. He's waiting in line, and then one of the tellers puts the close sign up.
Yep.
Even when there's like this huge rush, and then she just goes over and starts shooting the shit with the manager, and not working, and that always pisses us off, right?
Right.
And so the woman in front of Anders complains about it, and he just immediately turns from hating the bank to hating the person. So he
Right.
hates everybody,
He hates
even
everybody.
if he agrees with her. And I like how quickly
He got stuck behind 2 women whose loud, stupid conversation put him in a murderous temper.
Yeah,
So good.
it's great. And I like how quickly the author gets to the story.
Yeah.
I feel like
This
a
could have dragged
lot
out.
of creative writing people, a lot of literary writers would have I'm going to write a good 10 pages before we get to the bank robbers coming in.
Right.
But that's not how this one goes. It's just the bank robbers walk in, and there's a couple of pieces of this that are one is I would call science fiction. The other is the way that Anders reacts to these bank robbers is a little
indifferent.
Even beyond that.
Maybe he's like extra judgy of them.
Something, but they go in and they're like, everybody, blah, blah, blah. And so you would think you'd be scared and you would keep your mouth shut.
But he's not.
You would be wrong. He's completely criticizing them the way he criticizes everybody.
Right.
They're just another thing
To
that
be criticized.
Yeah, that's annoying to him, and
Right.
that is, and what he doesn't like is that everything they say is a cliche.
Right.
What do they say?
Oh, bravo! Anders said, "Dead meat." He turned to the woman in front of him. Great script, eh?
Yeah.
The stern, brass-knuckled poetry of the dangerous classes.
So that sounds like a book
Really
critic,
good.
Really well educated.
I totally missed this. This went way over my head then.
A great vocabulary, but he's just utterly contemptuous of everything and everybody. And then the bank robber guys are like, they call him Bright Boy.
They do.
And he goes,
I got it underlined.
Yeah, he's like,
Bright Boy, right out of The Killers.
Right out of The Killers, which is a Hemingway story. And
So good.
they... I'm glad you're laughing because I found it hilarious.
It's really funny.
Like, he can't...
Oh, no, this is hilarious.
He can't help himself.
He can't.
And the guy's like, hey, what are you doing? And they're going about robbing the bank, and he puts a gun up to his belly, and he goes, you think I'm fun? Anyway, and he's just saying no, but he's tickling his belly with the gun,
Right,
so he
he
starts
says-
giggling.
But the barrel tickled like a stiff finger, and he had to fight back the titters.
Yeah. He also
so
doesn't
good.
seem to realize, after a lifetime of intellectualizing everything and being a book critic, he doesn't seem to understand the difference between stories and real life anymore.
Reality.
This is just another lame story
Yes.
that he's got to criticize.
So
And
good.
he doesn't quite make that. There's a sense where he goes, he started feeling misgiving or something like that.
Right.
And that's right before he gets shot. But they make him, he looks at the guy's face, and the guy goes, what? You want to suck my dick? And he's like, no. And he goes, don't look at me. And so he looks down at his shoes, and he goes, no, up there. And he makes him look at the ceiling.
This is the best.
Go ahead.
This is my
Yeah,
favorite.
yep.
So he's starting to look at the ceiling, and the ceiling was crowded with. What does he say?
It was a pompous old building.
Anders had
Yeah.
not taken in, so it's like an old building with some kind of mural on the ceiling. Anders had not taken in at a glance in many years, had taken in at a glance many years earlier, and afterward declined to notice. Now he had no choice but to scrutinize the painter's work. It was even worse than he remembered.
Yeah.
And all of it executed with the utmost gravity. The artist had a few tricks up his sleeve and used them again and again. A certain rosy blush on the other side of the clouds, a coy backward glance on the faces of the cupids and fawns. The ceiling was portrayed with various dramas, but the one that caught Anders' eye, was Zeus and Europa portrayed in this rendition as a bull ogling a cow from behind a haystack. To make the cow sexy, the painter had canted her lips and suggestively her hips,
Yeah.
and suggestively given her a long, droopy eyelashes through which she gazed back at the bull with sultry welcome. The bull wore a smirk, and his eyebrows were arched. If there had been a bubble coming out of his mouth, it would have said, hubba, hubba. It's so good.
One thing that's great about this story is Anders is an asshole. It's the line from The Big Lebowski. You're not wrong. You're just an asshole. And he's right. It sounds like a pretty awful mural.
Yeah.
And I trust his taste. But now is not the time to be scrutinizing the mural when a guy's got a gun against your chin.
But he can't help it.
He cannot help himself. And then finally, he might be able to survive it. But then what's the killing blow? Capiche.
Capiche.
Or is it capisci? I think it's capiche is how they say it in the gangster movies.
They do.
I think that's the southern pronunciation. In the north, they'd say capisci. But the guy says capiche, and then Anders starts busting up. It's
Capiche.
just so stupid.
Capiche. Yeah.
And the guy shoots him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I read this.
There's still several pages left, by the way.
I thought there's no way the guy's going to get shot at least until the end.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute. How is he going to do this?
How is he going to do this?
I love it. And I love anything that undermines our expectations of what the structure is going to be.
Yes.
You have to drag it out, and then maybe he gets shot at the end, or maybe he learns a lesson and he survives. Maybe he gets shot in the leg, but nope. Bullet in the brain is the title of the story. It's what happens really quickly.
It is 4 pages, and I said it was 1. But
Still,
it doesn't matter.
It happens fast.
Yes. And it basically is, and what he doesn't want to do is talking cliches like life flashing in front of your eyes, which he does, of course, use, and that's what is happening.
So Wolff does this little writerly move, which I really admire. And the thing about Tobias Wolff, you've read the other 2 stories on this little trio, and I've read many of his collections. This is everything he writes is just very realistic, regular, kind of middle-class people this is the farthest he ever goes into a kind of, whoa, that's trippy. But it also just makes sense. And he just says the bullet's going into the brain, but it's going at 900 feet per second, which is a glacial pace compared to the speed of light of the neurons and all the synapses firing. So the bullet is in like brain time, and he has all kinds of time to think about his life. And he goes, what he does think about is a memory from beyond memory. He wouldn't have been able to recall it if he wasn't getting shot, but it's a Sunday afternoon or something like that from childhood. But then the author goes, it's notable what he didn't remember.
Yeah.
And what I think this is what's going on from a writer's perspective is you have this guy who's just nothing but an asshole. Nobody's going to feel too bad that he got shot in the head.
Right.
He had it coming. He couldn't control himself. But
now you got to make him human.
The author is humanizing him by just giving us a snapshot of his entire life coming up here.
And the sounds thing like a life that we've had.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, totally. And he has had disappointments. He has a pattern. He doesn't remember his girlfriend, who he really was crazy about until he got bored with her.
Right.
And then he didn't think about his wife, who he was really in love with, until he got sick of her. Right. And then he didn't remember his daughter, who he just obviously says she's some dour economist at Dartmouth. And he doesn't remember her like chastising her toy bear, like in these like threatening it with appalling punishments if it didn't straighten up.
Right.
Which is a little look at his family life, but also his parenting. Like, if your kid is like threatening to torture their teddy bear, I don't know. You might have something to do with it.
There's a statement there.
And he doesn't remember. And then he gets into how he doesn't remember poetry. He used to memorize poetry because he loved it so much. So what I get out of this is he became a book critic, but the reason he became a book critic is because at some point he loved books. But then like he does with everything in his life, the thing he loves the most becomes the thing that he hates the most.
I understand that.
And I think we all can, really.
I was dying to have a job where I would, work on technical related things, and now I get super annoyed when my mom, God bless my mom, when my mom calls me and goes, the TV doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's pretty annoying.
I'm like, what do you want me to do? What do you mean doesn't work? You got to be more specific. Like, well, I don't know. You know about this stuff. I'm like, no, let's pretend I don't. Let's just, I don't want to do this anymore.
I push the button and it doesn't come on. If you tried the batteries, where,
Yep. I got to charge them. I've been getting a thing on the screen that said I needed to charge the remote. I'm like, Mom,
No, I get it. So, Anders here. Oh, what was I going to say? There's also a little bit of his childhood, I guess. It goes, none of these did he remember. Not one. It's just this whole list of things he didn't remember. And it goes, Anders did not remember his dying mother saying of his father, I should have stabbed him in his sleep. So he also, at least I feel a little bit bad for him that he didn't have a great home life, maybe. But he loved poetry, and he also didn't remember seeing a book with one of his classmates' names on the cover and reading the novel and feeling respect for the person who wrote it. And it ends with, he did not remember when everything began to remind him of something else. That's a real kind of soul sickness when everything is unoriginal. And it's also like a certain kind of person thinks that way, right? Yeah. He was incapable of joy or wonder is what happened. And because he feels like he's I think it's arrogance. if you think you're so smart, you stop noticing the world and you immediately just start fitting it into the categories that you have already established.
Yeah.
Oh, that goes in the Hemingway category. That goes into this category.
Right.
That's this. And everything is boring.
Yep.
And you've seen it all and you've done it all. And you're just waiting for death. And I think it could be argued that the reason why he was messing with those bank tellers is because he was kind of suicidal.
Right.
Like, in a way.
I have it. My last note on this one is, for him, it was a gift from the bank robber.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yep.
he wanted it.
He also wasn't going to get better.
No.
This was not going to be a
change.
story where he's going to all of a sudden see the light and start feeling wonder and joy and all that.
I really like this one.
Yeah.
So my favorite of the three, actually.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Well, maybe the third one.
I thought that you would like the third one.
Of course I would.
So, shall we just quickly talk about what he does remember? So this is the one, all of the what he doesn't remember is kind of what isn't important to him, his character in a
Right.
way. But then he does remember something. And so the story is really highlighting that as important. And I'm wondering what your interpretation, or do you want to just summarize it for us? And then
I'll summarize it. So he remembers a pickup game of baseball, and a new kid wants to play shortstop. And there's a reply that somebody said, "Short's the best position they is."
yeah, the new kid from Mississippi.
Right. And so basically it said the others will think he's being a jerk, ragging the kid for his grammar, but it isn't. But that isn't it, not at all. And it's that Anders is strangely roused, elated by those final two words, their pure unexpectedness and their music, because it's not predictable.
Yeah.
It's something new. It's original.
When he was a kid, he loved things that weren't correct,
Right.
that were original, and he eventually got to the point where nothing was new and nothing was original.
Right.
But when he was a kid, he still had a capacity for wonder, and that's what he remembers in his last second of life on Earth. And he's just thinking to himself, they is, as he's hitting his mitt.
They is.
And he plays right field, of course.
Yeah.
They call it like the poet's position or something like
really?
that, the poet's corner.
Okay.
Because
the ball never gets hit there?
I don't know. I watch little like travel ball with my kid. There's a lot of balls hit to right field and these days, but I think in the old,
not that many left-handed hitters that were any good, could pull the ball.
Yeah, I don't think not even that many hitters could even hit it into outfield.
I couldn't.
And, especially hit it opposite field. Like,
I think I hit the ball into the outfield in my youth like twice. One was for a grand slam.
Woo! Well, you could retire on that.
I should have, because I was terrible. Oh, my God. I figured this one you would like it to, it ended with baseball.
Yeah,
and we're getting into it's the middle of baseball season right now.
Yeah, I like the baseball part of it too, and that he's not much of a baseball player. So, yeah.
Is it dystopian?
So you like the story? Is it dystopian? No, I don't think so. I don't. What do you think?
I don't. The argument. Let's make the argument for yes.
You want me to make the argument
do.
for yes? It is dystopian in that. Well, a dystopia is a system that is a oppressive system. It doesn't necessarily have to be the government, but it's the society that stifles us. And Anders is a product of this system where, because of his job and his position in life, everything has become tediously the same, and you can't tell the difference between a story and real life because we're living in this postmodern dystopia of like art is more important than life, or art feels more real than life, but all art is crappy and derivative and
that sounded like a critic would say it. Derivative.
It is. And the ceiling is a great example of a dystopian. It's not. So it's like this bank is a cheap fake of a beautiful, like, cathedral in Italy that has a Michelangelo ceiling.
Yeah.
But this is just a crappy little bank that's trying to look like that. But for one thing, it's not a place of God. It's a place of commerce. And it's just bad art. It's just cheesy and silly. That's my shot at it.
Wow. It's like you looked right off my notes because I had exactly the same thing.
No, come on.
I mean, I thought about it. I'm like, this guy, I would say it's not because in the end, the guy gets what he wants.
Yeah.
And in a dystopia, they never do.
Okay. So dystopian stories have sad endings?
They usually have a sad ending.
Yeah.
And he was kind of happy about this experience.
Well, he's having a good time in his mind at the end.
Yeah.
It's like he goes back to his best
He
moment.
loved getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
He didn't kill himself, right? That would be weird.
Yeah, no.
Okay, good. We should.
What do you mean he didn't kill himself?
I'm asking. Because then this is like the fantasy about, he commits suicide effectively, right?
I think he kind of couldn't help but mess with these guys that were perfectly capable of killing him, and indeed did kill him.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Thought it was good.
Nice one. Hey, why don't we do our gosh, what is it? Is it C or D? I think it's C. Let me see. Nope. Yay. I screwed up again.
Hey folks,
Whoa.
Let's take a break. So while you're topping off your pint, we've got a quick bit of housekeeping. If you're enjoying The Moon Underwater, do us a solid. Leave us a good rating and review wherever you listen, Apple or Spotify. It really helps more people stumble into our cozy pub of books, films, and conversation. And don't keep it to yourself. Tell a friend or share the show on your socials. Speaking of, you can find us on Instagram and Threads at The Moon Underwater Pod, YouTube at The Moon Underwater Pubcast, Twitter and Blue Sky at The Moon Underwater, and Letterboxd at TMUW Pod. We're posting updates, extra thoughts, and the occasional pub-related nonsense. So join us there. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or if you just want to say hi, write us at theguys@themoonunderwaterpubcast.com. All right, back to your regularly scheduled pints and paperbacks.
All right. I think that I like to imagine the people watching on video during that when we're just sitting here like look.
I make faces at the camera sometimes.
Oh yeah. I forget that it's there. I'm just picking my nose and but what's new?
Yeah, nothing.
All right, so we're going to jump. Do you want to talk about Say Yes for a second? Or
yeah, let's do it quick because it dawned on me what it was about because of something that happens later in the story.
Wait, okay, go ahead. Why don't you tell us what it's about?
So it's about a couple who are in the kitchen washing, drying dishes, and the wife asks the husband, and they got on the subject of whether white people should marry black people. He said that all things considered, he thought it was a bad idea. Why? She asked.
So
that's
we should probably
hook.
say we can imagine this couple being in like the 1970s or 1960s or something. You know what I mean? This is, the story was written quite a while ago.
Yes,
but also, and so the white and so the story is called Say Yes, and the way I understand that title is when your wife asks you certain kinds of questions, just say yes.
Just say yes.
And this guy can't seem to do that. And his position on it is that black people can't really know white people and white people can't really know black people. And she goes, what about foreigners? He goes, oh, even worse. Like, how can you marry somebody you don't know? And I think the irony of the story, and I'm just jumping right to the end, is that he doesn't really know his wife. And his wife doesn't really know him.
Oh, see, and now in my head, we find out they're not married.
Wait, how's that?
Aren't they not married?
No, they're married. How did you understand that?
Because he said he leaned against the door. I'll marry you, he whispered.
Yeah, but that's... No. That's just in that hypothetical world of if she was black.
Well, but that's how I read it. I'm like, She is.
No, she's not black.
I sort of
Okay.
hope she is.
No, that would make the story bizarre. And no. It's just a regular couple, married couple, and he goes, "Would you marry me if I was black?" And he says no, and she goes, and she
That's
hates
crazy.
him. And then later he goes,
Okay.
at the
There you
end, he
go.
goes, "Okay, I'll marry you
Right.
if you were black." Is the kind of, and she goes, "Hold on," and she turns off the lights.
Yeah, I did not understand this.
Okay, here's how it ends. She's taking a
Spoiler
shower.
alert.
She's taking a shower, and he is trying to make up with her. And he goes, "Hey, I'll marry you." She says, "Turn off the light." He reached over and pulled the chain on the bedside table. The room went dark. "All right," he said. He lay there, but nothing happened. "All right," he said again. Then he heard a movement across the room. He sat up, but he couldn't see a thing. The room was silent. His heart pounded the way it had on their first night together, the way it still did when he woke at a noise in the darkness and waited to hear it again. The sound of someone moving through the house, a stranger. I actually don't know what she's up to, but I think what the story is trying to tell her is that she's actually a stranger to him.
Yeah.
And that even though they're a married couple, it's absurd, the idea that only white people can know each other and only black,
Yeah.
The guy's idea about the world is dumb. And
I was thinking that as I read it, I'm like, wait, really? Did did they think this at some point?
yeah, I mean,
That's fucked
this
up.
was probably the default thought at one
Wow.
point not that long ago. Now it seems crazy, and seems like you'd have to be pretty much a confirmed racist to believe that, I would think, or at
Got a
least
set
say
of-
it out
Got a
loud.
set of sheets that you wear, is what you're saying?
Maybe.
Yeah.
By the way, since you brought up sheets,
Oh.
I woke up last night with my toe kind of like stuck in a hole in my bottom sheet, the fitted sheet.
A hole in your bottom sheet. Sorry.
I knew you were looking very nervous, very
So
upset.
glad you said sheet.
So there's a hole in the sheet, right?
Right.
So you got to get rid of the sheet. I mean, we're okay. If we were in
My,
like that,
my wife would stitch them up.
I was going to say, I'm not like some 17th century peasant. I'm not going to darn the sheet.
We've done
like
it.
I'm an American. We throw shit away and we buy new shit.
We totally
Like,
have sheets that have.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw that away. But here's my question to you:
Hmm.
do you just toss the whole set, or do you keep the top sheet?
Me?
Yeah.
I would toss the whole set.
Just because
I don't make those decisions though.
No.
And so you know what decisions that.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're definitely.
Well,
But
why would you get rid of the rest of them? They're still good.
Well-
Like, they don't go with anything.
they don't go with anything. But these are white sheets, so
Yeah.
white can go with other colors.
I guess.
Yeah, it just feels like out of all the things that have value, used sheets are really, really low.
Really
like,
low.
I think you can buy
Don't
them
put
for
those
like
on Poshmark.
I think it's like 25 cents a sheet, and painters and stuff buy them at Goodwill so they can use them as
Yeah.
drop cloths. So it's really not worth keeping them. But anyway.
I always am really grossed out sleeping in hotel sheets.
Oh, I try not to think about that.
Yeah.
They do wash them
Allegedly.
to some degree. They don't wash the mattress, though.
No, they do not. Don't bring a black light.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Let's not think about that too much. I'm going to be traveling soon.
Ugh.
Good old Baltimore. I hear that's the known for the cleanest sheets in America.
The very cleanest.
So we're going to talk
Baltimore
about a short story called Powder
powder.
by Tobias Wolff. And I love this story. I think it's so simple,
It
but
is.
it's so touching. And I've got kind of stories about fathers and sons that have difficult relationships, but it comes together. That always kind of moves me. And also that I'm a son, but also a father. of a son. But also I thought that it's, again, kind of like the first one. It doesn't have, I just am impressed by how short it is, but how much he gets out of it. But I
good.
also thought that you would like it because you're into cars, and the guy's
And?
into cars and skiing.
Skiing.
And also, you were just skiing with your daughter, right?
was.
And you guys had a bunch of powder just
We
hit
did.
you way back when, a couple months ago
yeah, a
or
couple
whatever.
months ago.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's the story starts out, my father, just before Christmas, my father took me skiing at Mount Baker. And
Where is Mount Baker? Do you know it, or is that
Washington, I think.
Okay.
Washington or Oregon. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. And what happens in the story is that
I think Tobias Wolff is Pacific Northwest guy.
okay,
I think so, yeah. Could be wrong, but yeah.
and basically as it unfolds, they're like, oh, let's just do one more. We'll do one more.
One more
run.
One more run.
Yeah.
Well, he just
You know,
said
that's
that
bad
there's a certain quality of the powder that starts coming down. He says that the father made it necessary that they get in one more run, and then that one more turn. So it's bad luck to say one more.
Yeah, if you don't go, okay, let's do one last run. Bad luck, like
because you might get the avalanched.
you might. Well, I have said it, and within the last 3 years, and my daughter will remember, we did 50,000 vertical at Winter Park, which is a crazy number.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
On the last run, when
Sounds
we
like
were
your
saying
legs
it was the
would
last
be
run,
rubbery.
they're horrible.
Yeah.
We did 61,000 last year, and the goal for spring break this year is 100,000 at Keystone
In one day.
in one day because they have
Jeez.
night skiing.
Okay.
So, yay. But when you say that, like the last time I really yard sailed was, oh, let's just do one more, and went back up, and on the way down got my binding on my right ski caught in my pants,
Ouch.
and
That's
it
awkward.
wouldn't turn, and I was doing probably 40 miles an hour, and I went face first. It was
Ouch.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bad
Don't say
luck.
that. All right.
And then the road closes in this story because
Yeah.
there's so much great powder coming.
But we also have the stakes are built up. The father is big time on the outs with the mom, and she gave him one more chance to hang out with the kid, and he's trying his best, but he screws everything up. Right? And he goes, oh, you're... and he absolutely promised that he's going to get him home by Christmas Eve dinner. So they're going to leave. They show up. There's a highway patrol guy. He's sitting there at the road down the mountain, and he goes, hey, road's closed. There's a storm came in, can't go down. The guy's like, oh, come on, I can do it. And the guy's like, he's a cop. He's not going to let you through.
No.
So they go back to a little diner, and the dad is like, your mom's never going to forgive you. And the kid's like, correct. She will not.
She won't.
Yeah. And the kid's pissed off at him, too. She's just like, he's kind of had it with this guy. And so I take it you understand what happened, right? How they were able to get down the mountain?
No.
Okay. So he goes, they're eating a burger or whatever at the diner, right?
Yep.
And he goes, hey, you want to still hang with me? He goes, yeah. He goes, okay, that's all I need to know.
That's all I needed to hear.
Then he goes and makes a phone call. Who's he call?
I have no idea.
After the phone call, what happens?
The cop goes away.
So what's the connection?
I don't know. They're getting called to something else.
Just randomly.
Well, no. Now that you mentioned this,
So I'm going to ask you again. So the author made him make a phone call.
right?
There's absolutely no reason to put a random phone call that doesn't have anything to do with the story. The
Okay.
phone call is important to the story.
He calls 911.
Yes, you got it.
All right.
Yeah. I was gonna do that thing I do with my students. I'll sit there for 5 minutes without talking until you figure it out.
So he calls 911
Yeah.
and gets rid of the cop.
Yeah, I said, hey, there's an explosion down.
Right.
he gets rid of the cop, and he goes, hey, and notice right after, he's all right, we got to go. And he throws money down, and they hop in his car, and then they run down, and the cop's not there. And the kid's like, what happened to the cop? And he goes, oh, is this warm enough for you? He doesn't answer. So he has the kid move the sawhorses aside. He goes, now you're an accomplice.
Right.
And they drive out onto the closed road. And so anyway, I was curious what you thought about Austin Healey. He has an Austin Healey.
Cool car. Yeah.
Did you have a sense of what kind of car?
It's like a convertible.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little
convertible. Yeah. I mean, they made other cars, but in the U.S., assuming that that's where this is, because it's Mount Baker.
Yeah.
Then it's just a little British roadster.
Yeah.
They were cool.
That's what I thought.
Yep. And it's got chains on it, which is pretty sweet.
And
Dad starts going into driving on roads that should be closed mode.
Yeah.
You ever done that?
No.
I definitely have.
Is it as kind of cool as it makes it sound?
It was very slow.
Yeah.
We had I had a 1998 Jeep Cherokee Sport when I was in college.
Sounds like a nice car.
It was great. And there was 8 of us that were going to Big Sky to this buddy's cabin, and we had all the gear in the back of the Jeep with the seats folded down and everything, me and my buddy. And they peeled off because they went off the road in South Dakota somewhere. We were like, we're good. The roads are getting better. It's fine. And we get to Gates in Wyoming, and it was like, what are we going to do? It's like, let's get the map out because there was no GPS.
Right.
Like, oh, look, we can go around. We'll go over to Sheridan this way. We went hours and hours and hours. And I to the point where we slept in a parking lot of a motel that we founded in the Bighorn Mountains. We slept about 2 hours. It was 7 degrees out. We drove the rest of the way to Billings and skied that day.
Wow.
It was great. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, yes, it's like slow and you don't really know where the road is.
Yeah.
And we were driving through 18 inches of snow probably.
Yeah.
And the interstate was closed. It was great. That was great.
So this is not quite that situation, but we learn about the characters as they're going down the road.
We do.
The father is like, hey, I'm a great driver. Don't you try this. It's not so easy.
That's totally me, by the way, with my kids. When I'm driving, like, look, I do stupid things. Don't try this at home, okay? Like,
and the father's kind of like, yeah, I'm not bragging. It's just a fact. He goes, you're good at a lot of things. But he goes, like what? Oh.
Stuff.
Where do I start? And he's like, name one. He's like, oh, easy. You plan ahead. And he's like, yep, I do. Like, that's why I knew there was going to be cops waiting for him at the bottom.
Right.
Which there was.
Yep.
And he has this little kind of jokey thing about how he asks teachers ahead of time for the homework so that he can plan it out. And he has his clothes on rotation in his closet. It's kind of funny. And the father is the opposite. He's like a kind of like flim-flam man in a way.
Yes.
And he's always in trouble with the wife. And it sounds like they're getting a divorce. And but he ends up talking so it goes into the future. He's going to talk his way through the gate at the bottom.
Right.
And it said he doesn't start singing O Tannenbaum, but almost something like that.
Right.
And and then finally the kid just says, well, I just started to relax. And since he had it under control, and he describes the trip down, and he could feel the snow brushing up on his feet.
Yep.
That was a great detail. I love that. And I never thought about driving through fresh powder. And of course, like skiing or snowboarding through fresh powder is the thing you want. And it's gorgeous and wonderful. But then driving through it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks, and of course, there's like all this snow on the trees, and it stops snowing eventually. And
oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you think of in terms of this
I underlined that last sentence. Except maybe to say this: if you haven't driven fresh powder, you haven't driven.
Yeah.
And I was like, Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That driving on fresh snow.
He said it's like being in a speedboat, except better because speedboats can't go downhill.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year on my way home from my epic ski trip, left Driggs, Idaho at 4 o'clock in the morning. Figured I had 10 hours ahead of me just to get a little over halfway. And I got up super early just on a whim and left. And I was driving through a foot of snow, untracked. I was the first car to touch it.
Nice.
From Driggs all the way over to Jackson Hole, which was awesome.
And that's the Topeka. Wait, what is it? Tacoma.
Topeka.
The hell am I
Yes.
talking about?
Topeka.
Tacoma.
Yes.
Tacoma.
Tacoma.
All right.
The taco. Marge.
Yeah.
My beloved Tacoma.
Marge. I can't believe you name your truck.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I've tried to name other cars. They didn't take.
Yeah.
Marge was always Marge.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't even name my pets if I had them, so I guess
I don't
I'm
want any
like
pets.
yeah.
I want out on pets. Yeah. I'm with you.
So it's basically this really sweet father-son story, and you know that the father's eventually going to get kicked out of the house totally, and but they have this one moment, and that's kind of what the story's about. I know a little bit more about this story because Tobias Wolff wrote a memoir called This Boy's Life, and it's about him. No, yeah, he was in like the Seattle area, and he was a poor kid, and I think he cheated his way somehow into like a fancy prep school.
Okay.
And I forget how exactly, but his father wasn't around. His mom was, I don't remember the memoir that well, but it's a struggling, difficult childhood story. And so Tobias Wolff has a brother named something else Wolff, obviously, by the same
Something
father.
else is kind of a weird name. But.
And Tobias stayed with the mom when they broke up, and the other kid went with the father. And that guy wrote a memoir called The Duke of Deception. It's about the father, and he was a full-on like swindler. They would go from town to town, and he would pass bad checks. And
wow.
He's kind of this. So this feels kind of autobiographical, and the father in this story seems kind of like a lovable character. But if you read the memoir about the real guy that it's probably based on, he was actually kind of a pathological liar and just not as lovable.
Woof.
And I feel like it's when you're the kid that has some distant memory of the father that you didn't actually grow up with, you're going to have this like sort of nice feeling about him.
Rosier. Yeah.
But if you're the kid that actually had to go with that father and then run out on hotel bills all the time and go from school to school, then you're probably not going to have all this like nostalgia about skiing with them or whatever.
Right.
So anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting context.
I liked it a lot because it was, it checked
skiing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I still have more skiing ahead of me. Yay.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Season's not over yet for me.
Okay.
I got Colorado yet to go, even though it's May. Yes, it's May, probably. Or April, anyway.
You're talking about next year?
Yes. I already know where I'm going for spring break next year. It's been decided, decreed. And if I say it here, it makes it official, right?
Sure.
Going to Jackson Hole.
All right.
Because
Okay.
it's crazy.
Good.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
I'm going to.
All right. Tobias Wolff.
Tobias
I
Wolff.
guess,
Good stuff.
Yeah. Let's. Thanks, everybody. Get out there and have an embodied experience. We'll see you next time on The Moon Underwater.